All right, 8th grade. So we are starting chapter 8, polynomials, and we're just going to jump right on in. So these first lessons going to be about adding and subtracting polynomials. But first you need to understand what the vocab is. So that's basically this first video is just going to be the basics. What do you need to know? So you need to write the words in red. Basically. So a monomial is a real number, a variable, or a product, which means the multiplication, of a real number and one or more variables. So, with whole number exponents. So, monomial could be just a. It could be 20 would be a monomial. It could be 32x. Or 32x squared, or 5xy cubed. All of these right now, and I'm going to put commas to indicate that more. All of these right now are monomials. So a degree of a monomial is the sum of the expression exponents of its variables. The degree of a non-zero constant, of a non-zero constant, so any number that's not zero, is 0, and 0 has no degree. So if we were to look at these up here, like this first one, that's a degree 1. 20 would have a degree 0 because it's a constant. 32x squared has a degree 2. And then when I do the 5xy cubed, the 5 has an exponent of 1, or the x has an exponent of 1, the 5 has an exponent of 1, but really we're looking at the variables of its variables. So I'm just going to take 3 plus 1, which would give me a degree of 4. But that's how we figure out our degrees, is if there's more than one variable, we add their exponents. If it's a constant, which is just a number, then our degree is 0 because there is no variable with an exponent. So then we go to polynomial is a monomial or a sum of monomials. So poly just means many. If you think back to Latin roots or root words in general. No, take me back. So poly just means many. And I'm lost where I'm, oh, there we go. Poly means many, and nomial means numbers. So this is many numbers. Mono, meaning one, still means one, but so a monomial is one term, but it's still a polynomial. Some monomials would be like 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x plus 7. I wrote 5 instead of 7. So minus 4x plus 5. All right. So this is a polynomial of 4 terms, but it is a sum of monomials. That's the way to think of it. Degree of a polynomial, if it just has one variable, then it's the same as the degree of the monomial with the greatest exponent. So in this one that I wrote up here, it would be a 3rd degree. If you have the multiple variables, then we go back to this degree of a monomial, and we add the exponents of the monomial together and see which is the biggest, and that is our degree. Then we have binomial, that's a polynomial with 2 terms, and trinomial, a polynomial with 3, because bi means 2 and tri means 3. All right. A couple examples using this vocabulary. We're going to find the degree of these monomials. So again, we just want to look at the variable. The 5 is awesome, but I want to look at the variable and its exponent. This one has 1, so it's a 1st degree. On this one, we have x and y, so we're going to take 3 plus 2, which is 5. So we have a 5th degree. And here, it is just a number. There is no variable. We call that a constant, which means this has a degree of 0, or the 0th degree. Feels weird to put a th with 0. Anyway. Here is a table of information. I didn't make you fill anything in and out. It's just good to know. So these are some examples, and then this shows the degree. Excuse me. Notice none of these have multiple variables. They're all just one variable. So these are the degrees we're looking at. So like 6 has no or it has no variable, so it has no degree. This 5x plus 9 is, we have an x to the 1, so it's a 1st degree. And then we have a 2nd degree, 3rd degree, and 4th degree. Now, we have certain names using the degrees. So if it's a 0 degree, just a number. We've been calling that a constant. We, in chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, we were working with linear equations because our variable only had a degree of 1. What we could get to is quadratics. We'll see quite a few of them as we get into multiplying and factoring, but we may get into graphing quadratics and knowing more about quadratic functions themselves. But quadratics have a degree of 2, cubics have a degree of 3, and then after cubic, you just call it whatever its degree is. So in this case, it was a 4th degree, it could be a 5th degree, it could be a 100th degree. It's all in the way it works. All right, so then using these same polynomials, they counted the number of terms. Terms are what is used to create the polynomials. So in this case, the 5x is a term and the 9 is its own term. So that was 2 terms. Or this third one is 3 terms. And so here are our names. You have monomial, binomial, trinomial. And then after like 3, like 4 plus, we just call polynomial. Now, keep in mind, they are all polynomials. The monomial, the binomial, the trinomial, all are polynomials. It is just easier to decipher and call them by the mono, bi, and tri. All right, so that is all for this video. In the next video, we will actually... Oh, let's classify first. Oh, my bad. So we have our first name is based off the degree, so the largest exponent is the 2. So that tells us it's going to be a quadratic. That's its first name. And its last name is based off of the terms. And there are also 2 terms, which makes it a binomial. So when we classify polynomials, we give them 2 names. First name based off of the degree, second name based off of how many terms. So when I look at B, we have a 1, a 0, a 3, and another 1. And so this is a cubic, maybe if it will write. There we go. A cubic is its first because it has that degree 3. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, so this would be a polynomial. And that's how we classify polynomials. That gives you some vocabulary and just an understanding when I start using the word cubic or quadratic, what we're talking about. So I will see you in the next video. Stay classy.